Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So, I decided to do another Atari 7800 gameplay video. Excuse my voice, I've been battling this, I don't know what I did to my vocal cords, but not good this whole week. But I'm still going to do videos anyways, so. But this is the Atari 7800 food fight game. I did a video not that long ago where I actually showcased the Atari 7800, kind of went through it and showed all its, everything about it. And then I did my first video, which was on Miss Pac-Man, which I have still sitting here on my desk, the Miss Pac-Man game, which was a lot of fun. Now this one, Food Fight, was a game I remember so fondly because when I bought this game when I was a kid, I didn't realize that it was only for the 7800, and so I wasn't really well versed on Atari back then. I grew up with the Intellivision, the Commodore 64. I ended up buying an Atari 2600 Junior a little bit later on, and so I didn't really know all the Atari stuff. And I saw the game on the shelf. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and I bought it. I got home. And then I realized this doesn't work on the Atari 2600. I think I even mentioned that in my video where I talked about the 7800. But luckily, my best friend next door had an Atari 7800, and that I was able to trade it off to him, and then he traded, I think, like a Commodore 64 game or something, I don't know. We did some kind of trade, and all was right with the world. But we still got to play the game, and we still had fun with it. And that was a long time ago. So I have not owned this game since then, and it was always on my must-grab list. I must grab this game one day. I kept looking on eBay to try and find it at a good price, and eventually I got lucky. I walked into a video game store not too far from my house, and they had a bunch of Atari 7800 games, and this was one of them. And so I grabbed it right away, and they weren't asking a lot. It was like $6 or something, really cheap, and I was happy to own this game again. So I've been wanting to play it ever since I bought it, and I've been holding on to it. I got a ton of other games that I've also bought that I have not yet really put in my Atari or anything like that. So I'm just kind of saving it so I could do these fun videos. Anyways, yeah, I remember a little bit about this game. I even went and watched the No Swear Gamers video on this game, which he did in 2015. So you might want to search him out if you don't know who he is. He does a lot of Atari stuff, and he's very good with his reviews. He's very thorough with his reviews. He actually tells you the scoring and all the other stuff. He gets really in-depth in the game. Me, I'm just going to play it and give my opinion and my little story about it. Anyways, let's just pop this guy into my Atari 7800 Pro system and see how I play Food Fight. Okay, so we got it up here. We got the Atari screen right there. We got Food Fight. Food Fight. Okay, intermediate, one player. So you got beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And since I always like to go for the beginners, let's go for the beginners. One player. Yeah, I'm a one player. Select starting level player 1. So you can pick your level. I don't really see the point of that right now. So, yeah, let's just get going. Eat the cone. So that's your player there. It's your little dude. So you can pick up the food and start throwing it. You only got a few seconds to get over to that ice cream cone over here and eat it. I like how his mouth just extends to this crazy level to just eat that ice cream cone. Now, a few things of observation. The board itself is kind of bland. It's just black. Just has the food there. The little, what are they, holes or wherever they're coming out of. Sewer holes. They're coming out of something. Kind of weird. And, they could have, put in a little bit more detail into this. The detail in the character is neat. I like how he opens his mouth, his tongue comes out. It's kind of weird. And each of the chefs kind of look different. They didn't, take a shortcut and and say, hey, let's just make all the chefs look the same, or just change like a color scheme. You have to get to that ice cream before it melts. That's the main thing right there. It looks like the food changes each level, which is cool, so it's not like the same. You know, if this was on the Atari 2600, I'm sure the graphics would be even worse, as far as you wouldn't really be able to make out what half of the things were. So, you know, it's kind of got that going for it. But it's a really simplistic game. I mean, there really isn't a lot more going on. Very arcade style. Let's just see, you know, it's all about the points on this one. Yeah, sure you have a goal to get to the end there and get that, and the remaining food actually does give you some, you know, points. But then you kind of wonder, do you waste time trying to throw food at these people? Or do you just, like, rush from there to there and get the, you know, get it as fast as possible? Of course, when you start off, after you complete a ice cream cone, if you still have food in your hand, you get to start off with it, so that's great. I like how it kind of shows up in different areas. It would have been neat if it was more sporadic, though, like if it was over here or over here, you know. I guess they wanted to make sure that it always ends up at the end of the level and not just, you know, right beside you. Which probably could happen if it was random, you know, it could end up over here, you just have to walk up and grab it. So I guess they always wanted to make sure it was over here. But I mean, yeah, this is pretty much the game. I mean, there's not much more going to happen. The levels get just a little bit more intense. It doesn't seem like I'm having a whole lot of trouble here. Let's see that again. Instant replay. Now this is an interesting touch. They do an instant replay. So it kind of replays the game you just did, like the level you just did. So you can see your magnificent gameplay happening. Kind of fun. I mean, more like an interlude style of thing. So I'm already on level 11. And yeah, I mean, this is it. This is food fight. You can play with 2 players too, but you alternate turns, so it's not like both players are on the screen at the same time. I like the music. The music's kind of neat. And he fell into that manhole. That's kind of weird. I think these are pies. I throw pies at people. Well, at least you can do like kind of a rapid fire too. You know, not unlike some Atari games where you fire a weapon and you gotta wait till it exits the screen. You know, at least they don't have that going for it. I mean, this is a great game if you just want to pop it in and play for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Get your, you know, get your high score going. But I don't know if I would want to, you know, continuously play this for hours. I think I'd kind of get bored. Like it's okay. It's just there's not a lot more, not a lot going on here. Not, you know, could be more to it, but. Very classic arcade style game. Throw me some bananas. Oh, I just fell in a hole. I didn't realize I could fall in the hole. That's a nice touch. I love how the food just kind of all gets thrown at him. And they're all coming after me. Oh. So, this was actually pretty fun. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it, but it seemed like it wouldn't last very long. It's the kind of game that's great to just come back to every once in a while. And I kind of like that. I like these type of games. I like it where you play it and you're like, I'm going to play this again one day. Versus the games where you put it in and you're like, you You play it once and you're like, I could just throw that on my shelf and never play it again. Sure, it doesn't give you the hours of entertainment that, say, a Nintendo game might. And this is one of the problems right here with the Atari 7800, is that the Atari 7800 had the capabilities to put out games very close to the Nintendo, graphically speaking anyways, but ended up with games like this, which are not, they're okay. But as I said when I was playing, the playing field was very boring. It was just black screen. There was no detail. It'd be like if you can imagine if you played Super Mario Brothers and there was nothing in the background except black. It was just a dark black background and then just the stuff that you could jump on. That's what this kind of gave me. They could have put some more detail into it. They could have did a little bit more. From what I understand, watching the No Swear Gamers video on this, he did say that this was based on an 83 arcade game, I believe. So perhaps they tried to stay true to the arcade. I don't know. I've never looked into the arcade version of this. I don't know what it is. But, maybe that was the reason. Or maybe it was just a quick game that they threw it out. And the other thing he mentioned was that it's, it's not ported on many other systems, which kind of gives this a one-up. So, ultimately, it's a fun game. I think a lot of people have fond memories of it when they had their 7800. They played it. I think, people really enjoyed this game. And it's definitely going to stay there on my list of, if I just feel like playing a game and I don't have a whole lot of time, this is going to be the game. I would suggest if you have an Atari 7800 and you don't have this one, source it out. Look for it. Find it. It's actually pretty fun. You've watched me play it. If you're into those kind of games, obviously if you're into more of the, the more complicated, sophisticated style games, this might not be up your alley. But if you're really into the arcade style games, I really think this is cool. Anyways, yeah, that's Food Fight for the Atari 7800. Hopefully my next video, my voice won't be shot, and I can actually do some more Atari 7800 stuff like Xevious, which I picked up at a recent store, along with this weird one, Hat Trick, some kind of hockey game. I don't know anything about this. I'm going to play this blinded because I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to do a video on it anyways. And I got a bunch more anyways. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe to my channel. Talk to you later.